Talking Shirts is presented in partnership with White Oak Cottage. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
Hello, welcome to episode number 106 of Talking Shirts. I'm Mike from Hull KR Shirts, and today we're going to cover the 2014 military shirt. Now, the 2014 military shirt has been covered on Talking Shirts in the past. We had a look at AD Gardeners from the game against the Huddersfield Giants in 2014, and again, we're back with another one, but this time we're looking at the other winger, David Hodgson. Anyway, a little bit more about that in the second part. Let's focus on the shirt. So as you can see here, the shirt features a very strong military design. Funds from this shirt went towards the Yorkshire Benevolent Trust, and we used a Union Jack as the main feature on the front and the design of this shirt. So as you can see, the navy has been stripped out, and we've included some of the camo print design that features across the shirt and across the back into segments of the Union Jack. The shirt was produced to us by Feta, and it carried the Hull Kingston Rovers Cud crest, designs, sponsorship on the front, along with Clear Sky being the main front of shirt sponsor, and then we've got Hull Angling Centre, who featured in that lower, now dropped collar spot. Now, this shirt, or this design should I say, has actually been used for other purposes. Now, I have a feeling that this shirt design was copied from another organisation, and that organisation being the Army. Now, I'm going to pop a picture up for you to have a little look at. Now, this picture is of a shirt that has been pinned to a roof in a pub on North Hull. That pub is Meadows. I was in there one evening playing darts with a few friends, and I spotted this on the ceiling, so I took a quick snap of it. As you can see, Feta was the manufacturer for both of these, and I have a little bit of a feeling that we may have just taken that design, popped our crest on it, popped all of our sponsors on it, and then used that design to very good effect, I must add, because I think it's an absolutely stunning shirt. Now, I don't have any real evidence to back that up. It is just a claim from me. It's just an opinion. However, when I saw that shirt on the roof, I was like, is that what I think it is? Yeah, and I thought that was really, really interesting and definitely worth noting whilst doing this episode of Talking Shirts. So back to this shirt. As I said there, we've kind of covered the main design elements of the front, and you will also notice that there's a little squiggle on the front here. And this shirt has been signed by David Hodgson as well. Sweet. Right, let's have a look at this first sleeve then. So as we turn it round to this sleeve here, so now this is the left sleeve as worn. We have got the Yorkshire Benevolent Trust's branding that features on here. As I've said, this is where a percentage of the funds went to towards this. Whenever you do a charity shirt, obviously there is always a charity involved, and in this instance it was the Yorkshire Benevolent Fund. Up above here, pretty hard to see maybe, I will pop some pictures up, is we've got the Archbishop Centreville Academy. They have featured quite prominently across quite a few shirts in the 2010s when it comes to sponsorship upon Hull KR and their shirts. And as we take a look around to this other sleeve here, the Archbishop Centreville Academy, their branding also features on the other sleeve, and then we have got this First Utility Super League branding. Now, it's a really interesting logo, this one. Obviously, First Utility, an energy company, they did sponsor the Super League during this 2014 season. Getting a bit carried away myself there. But yeah, it's a really small one, and it does actually peel quite easily because there's some really sort of little small contact points. Now, fortunately, this shirt was just worn in that one game during the 2014 season, so that probably does explain to why this is in quite good condition. However, I do have some other shirts from 2014 which have been worn a little bit more, that does show some signs of more significant wear, shall we say. So that's been the front of the shirt and the sides. Before we have a little bit of a look at the back of the shirt and we'll talk a bit about Dave Hodgson in detail, here is a quick word from our sponsor.
White Oak Cottage is a 2-bedroom luxury holiday cottage set in the stunning Lincolnshire Wolds. It has 2 ensuite bedrooms, a hot tub, wood burner, Wi-Fi, electric vehicle charger, and is pet friendly. It is ideally situated in the Wolds, yet only 15 miles from the coast and 25 miles from the historic city of Lincoln. For more information, visit whiteoakcottage.co.uk.
And now, here we are with the reverse of the shirt. So let's take a look at this one. So as you can see, the back of the shirt, it features quite strongly in that camo print design that I spoke about in the first half. That features on the sleeves and also a little bit on the front, in and around the Union Jack. Now, when we look at the back of this shirt, I feel like the addition of the camo really does now tell us that this is quite strongly aimed at some sort of military background. The camo in itself obviously isn't a natural camo print. It features in different shades of red, which obviously ties in with the club's colours. Across the back of the shirt, we have got 3 sponsors. We've got East Yorkshire Stutters Limited and Higher Base. Their logos feature in a monotone of white, which really does boom off the back of that shirt, which I'm sure that these guys would have been really happy about when it comes to seeing their branding appear on a kit. And then we've also got Hull College Group, which again is mostly predominantly in white, but obviously they do have some black and then some colours in here with their logo. It's not massively offensive. It fits in just okay. Like I say, no real complaints at all. These 3 have all been long-standing sponsors of the club who must have put thousands of pounds into our progression over the years. And without the support of our sponsors, we probably wouldn't be where we are today. So the work that those guys do is absolutely fantastic, and something that I, as a supporter, really do appreciate. So yeah, on the back of the shirt, we've got D Hodgson and the number 5. You will notice the addition of the letter D. During the 2014 season, we actually had more than one Hodgson. We also had Josh Hodgson. So Josh had a J, David had a D, and that was just then to signify a change of sort of a name, shall we say. We've seen it recently. Corey Hall, when he joined during the 2023 season, he had to have a C before his Hall, and it's just to kind of differentiate from 2 different players. Now, you would imagine that a squad number would be enough for that. However, it must be league rules that it has to have 2 different letters at the beginning, in normal circumstances anyway. There is a little bit of stress going on to this letter in here. It looks like it's kind of like sort of just crinkling a little bit, starting to crack, starting to peel. The contact points are quite small. These letters are a lot smaller than some that we have used in previous seasons, and there's nothing really going on with the number 5. So it could just be down to sort of the size related issue there. This shirt was only just worn the once in a game, but obviously after that, where it goes and how it then ends up in my collection, it has a story in itself, which mostly goes untold because it's kind of impossible to know. I did pick this up off a fellow collector, but how long he's had it for, I'm not fully sure. A little bit about David. So he signed for us on a 3-year contract at the end of the 2011 season. He was with the club for 3 years at that point, as a winger, as a player. During those 3 years, he made 53 appearances. After that, he did actually retire as a player at the end of the 2014 season, where he then committed to the club as an assistant coach. Now, David Hodgson is still at the club now, as an assistant coach in 2024, having originally signed as a coach in 2015. So he has been a coach now for coming up to 9 years. He's under contract until the end of 2025. So he's easily going to break through sort of 10 and maybe even into 11 full seasons as a head coach, as an assistant coach with the club. An interesting fact is during the 2017 season, he did actually come out of retirement and then return as a player. And he did make 5 appearances during that 2017 season as well. So when you look at David's stats, it looks like he only played 58 games across sort of 6 seasons, but there was actually a few of those where he wasn't actually registered as an official player. During his 4 seasons, shall we say, as a player in East Hull, he did actually score 34 tries. So he had quite a good tries per game ratio when it comes to a winger. But obviously the calibre that David brought to the club, former Great Britain international, was definitely something that we'd really missed. I think it would also be amiss of me not to mention his try that he scored against Hull FC at the Magic Weekend in 2012, because that's kind of a moment that has kind of etched his name in Hull KR folklore, really, the way that the Robins did come back to win that game, and also in the manner that they did, was truly special. So this shirt, as I've mentioned, it was actually worn on the 26th of June against the Huddersfield Giants. Now, the Robins did come out on the wrong side of the scoreline that day, 26 points to 22. But Dave did actually score 2 tries in this shirt in that game. It was a Thursday night game. It was on Sky Sports. I can remember it quite well, actually, which is a strange memory to have. But yeah, I do have a memory of that game. we struggled. This was probably the start of the struggles in wearing a third shirt. 2014, obviously we played in this one once, we lost in it once. 2015, as you can see up there, went onto the Papua New Guinea shirt. We played one game in that we lost that. In 2016, we then had the RNLI shirt. We played one game in that at home. We lost that as well. Wasn't until 2017, which the third shirt then wasn't really a charity shirt, where sort of our fortunes started to change in what was described as a third shirt. This was the first time that we'd had a third shirt since sort of, well, God, the early 80s. So, it's really interesting to kind of like understand, I'm a fond believer of that shirts don't lose games, or kits don't lose games, players do. That's something that somebody once mentioned to me, and it's a really good point. But I know that we always like to look at the stats of how many kits was worn and how many victories, defeats, etc. appeared in that kit. But I suppose it all just is opinion and creates some interesting talking points all the same. So, that's everything for episode number 106 of Talking Shirts. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. In episode 107, I'm going to cover Brad Schneider's 2023 Queensland kit. Something really interesting to look forward to there. A guy who's achieving things in Australia at the moment. So, I'm sure we'll have plenty to say about that one. Thank you very much for watching. Check back in another couple of weeks, and that's when I will be back with a brand new episode of Talking Shirts. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.